That takes us elegantly to talk about the 20 years that the Taliban have managed to erase of military containment in just a matter of weeks. Steamrolling that army that Rick's talking about, the Afghan army, funded and trained by the West, with humanitarian devastation likely to follow. So, forgive us, but this is we look at this in terms of what is the cost. And I don't just mean, obviously, treasure, but the costs in blood and treasure. If you're going to analyse what this means, then you have to put it in those terms. Nearly 2,500 troops and 1,100 NATO coalition forces have been killed in over 2 decades. It estimates that more than 60,000 Afghan soldiers and 50,000 civilians have lost their lives. Pause and think of those numbers. The war in treasure has cost the United States alone more than $2 trillion. Germany has threatened to cut off aid if the Taliban take over and return the country to Sharia law. The UK is warning Afghanistan could become a failed state. The Prime Minister says he'll use his aid budget as leverage.
What we certainly can do is work with all our partners in the region and around the world who share an interest in with us in preventing Afghanistan from once again becoming a breeding ground for terror. And I think anybody in government in Kabul is going to recognise that the West, the UK, have a permanent interest in making sure that that does not happen. And so we are going to use our diplomatic, our political, our overseas development aid budget leverage to make sure that we exert what pressure we can.
Sir William Patey is the former British ambassador to Afghanistan. He joins me now. Ambassador, you're a former, so you can be diplomatically indelicate at best. The speed with which it's all fallen apart is really something quite appalling, bearing in mind, as we've shown you, the cost of lives and treasure that's been put into it. I mean, if this was anything else, it's disgraceful.
Yes, I agree with you. And it's completely unnecessary. There was no need for us to pull out forces quite so precipitately. We had 3,500 American troops, just over 5,000 NATO troops, total 8,000 NATO troops. They were performing a function that was vital to the support of the Afghan government in logistics, in air support, in training, and that could have gone on for quite some time to bolster the Afghan forces. By withdrawing them so quickly, we have basically tipped the balance. It gave the Taliban a sense of confidence. It withdrew confidence from the Afghan government, and we're in a position that we ourselves have created.
There is an argument that says we could not stay there. This is the Biden argument. If by now the Afghan 100,000 troops were not able to look after the country, if after all we've done, the whole thing is dependent upon us still being there to prop it up, then maybe it's just not feasible to keep doing it.
How long did it take the United States to evolve into a modern democratic state, or the United Kingdom for that matter, or Germany after the Second World War? We maintained troops in Germany for nearly 50 years after the Second World War because there was a threat to that democracy. 20 years is not a long time to try and transform a country like Afghanistan, which has known decades of war, into a stable democratic state. We had already transitioned from over 130,000 NATO troops when I was there as ambassador in 2010 to 8,000 NATO troops in 2021. We probably could have reduced it by a bit more, but we have just lost patience. I think the American administration has decided that Afghanistan is not strategically important to them, and therefore domestically they don't need to maintain the support.
So if you assume that the CIA and the NSA and all the intelligence agencies have a half-decent go at knowing what's going on, and I'm familiar with the argument that if Taliban takes over, eventually insurgencies will go, and if they don't do it over there, eventually they'll bring it over here. That's the argument that there's always been. So there must have been an intelligence assessment that it is okay to let Afghanistan go back to the Taliban and we will not pay the price of Western terrorism.
Well, I don't know how they can predict that. That may be the assessment, but intelligence is not always right. As I know from my cost, I was ambassador in Iraq. Sometimes intelligence is wrong. If that is the assessment, I hope they're right, and we don't live to regret this day. And it is possible to make the argument that the United States and Europe do not have great strategic interests in Afghanistan. It's more a Chinese, Russian, Pakistan, Iranian problem. Let them deal with it. That's a perfectly good argument. If you ignore the moral question, we broke it, should we fix it?
So finally, and to those viewers, please help me and our viewers understand, look, if everything was so good, and if the democracy that we had brought and the gender rights and all the things that we had brought to Afghanistan in the 20 years were so marvellous and so well appreciated, why have the Taliban been able to overrun such large parts of the country so quickly?
Well, it's a very Islamically conservative country. The women like the progress, not all the men do. And I have to say that not every Afghan has confidence in their government. I think the issue of corruption is a huge issue, and that is where I would take a huge amount of the blame on our shoulders for not dealing with corruption at a much earlier stage in our period in Afghanistan.
Sir William, I'm grateful that you came and talked about it with us tonight. Thank you, sir.